You said one time that one of the things you learned is that to succeed greatly, you have to be willing to fail greatly.
Oh, 100%. No one failed more than I did. I deserved all the credit I received. Nobody's seen more than I've seen. None of these fighters, none of these athletes. I'm the king of the barbarians. There's no one that could surpass me in the pain I've endured.
Every boxer you've ever watched, every legend, every underdog, every warrior fits into one of the 5 archetypes, from the cold technician to the unhinged psycho. These fighting styles shape how battles are won or lost. In this video, we're going to go into a deep dive, not just into the styles, but into what makes each one deadly or doomed. The technician is the surgeon of boxing. Think high fight IQ, elite fundamentals, and total control of the tempo. These fighters aren't just throwing punches, they're reading you like a book, downloading that information, using that data to go on full attack. The key traits of a technician is pretty much the elite timing and distance control, mastery of defense, the shoulder rolls, parries. The technician prefers to fight clean, efficient movement, not emotionally reactive, always calculating, and always ready. When it comes to fighting the technician, they have 3 major strengths. They're really difficult to hit clean. They tend to appoint their opponents over time and adapt mid-fight. Now, the weaknesses of a technician is pretty much the fact that they usually have low output, sometimes mistaken for passivity. They can struggle with relentless pressure and less knockout power. But don't get it twisted, the goal of a technician is to frustrate the opponent, lure them in, and pick them apart. It's not just boxing, it's pretty much a science experiment in motion. Alexander Usyk's fight style is a masterclass in high-level boxing IQ, movement, and timing. Usyk is known for his elite footwork. He constantly shifts angles, making him hard to hit and allowing him to create openings without taking damage.
He's so talented. He's so small for a heavyweight too. He's non-stop movement, and his footwork and everything, it's so different than anybody else. Joshua didn't know what to do with him. He's like, where is this guy going to be when I'm throwing punches?
When it comes to his southpaw trickery, at southpaw he uses his stance to frustrate opponents with awkward angles and sharp counters, especially his straight left hand. Usyk's volume and activity is a problem. He throws a high volume of punches, not always with power, but with precision and variety to wear down opponents and control the pace. And Usyk absolutely has the ring generalship. Usyk has exceptional awareness and control of the ring. He dictates distance and tempo, forcing opponents to fight on his terms. And one thing for sure you cannot leave out is his adaptability. Perhaps his greatest strength, honestly speaking. Usyk reads opponents in real time, adjusts tactics round by round. In short, Usyk is a slick, cerebral boxer, combines constant movement, technical skill, and strategic pressure to dismantle even bigger and stronger opponents. But when it comes to being a technician, it's pretty much about learned skill. That really comes into a bad play when they meet someone who just doesn't get tired. The athlete is pretty much explosive, unpredictable, physically gifted beyond normal limits. They don't fight by the book, they are the book. Athletes have exceptional speed and reflexes, creative striking angles, improvisational, pretty much hard to read. You cannot download their information, and they switch stances and styles mid-fight. The 3 major strengths of an athlete is the fact that they can finish fights in a flash. They're unorthodox and so difficult to prepare for, and they dominate when they're confident. If you want to say there's a weakness for an athlete, it's pretty much the fact that sometimes they rely too much on talent and they get exposed when drawn into wars. But don't get it twisted, they do have that heart. Another thing you can point at is the fact that they tend to neglect defense. These fighters are highlight reels. They do things you don't think were possible, and sometimes neither do they. Terence Bud Crawford's fight style is a rare blend of technical brilliance, adaptability, and killer instinct. He has amazing switch hitting, and it's pretty much his signature trait.
What do you see that gives Crawford that?
He's just very more versatile. More versatile. He can switch. He switches up his tempo. He has a lot.
Crawford seamlessly switches between orthodox and southpaw stances, confusing opponents and opening up for angles for counters. His counter punching is amazing. He excels at reading his opponents and timing deadly counters. After luring them in with traps and punishing their mistakes, Crawford's fight IQ and patience is amazing to watch. Crawford starts slow, studying his opponents and tendencies, then shifts gears mid-fight to dominate once he's figured them out. And his finishing ability is something you always have to point out. I mean, once he hurts you, he becomes a ruthless finisher. He mixes speed, accuracy, and aggression with a surgical precision. His footwork and distance control is something you cannot leave out. He uses subtle footwork and reach to control range, slipping shots, and creating openings with smooth lateral movement. In short, Terence Crawford is cold, calculated, and he's also a technician. But he adapts on the fly and breaks down opponents mentally and physically before finishing them decisively, and that's the key aspect to an athlete. Now, when it comes to being a technician, that's something you learn. When it comes to being an athlete, you do have to be physically gifted to push yourself to the limit. But there's one thing that is special in a lot of fighters, and it's not something you learn, it's not something you're physically gifted, it's pretty much something that messes with everyone's psyche, and we're talking about the brawlers. If the technician plays chess, the brawler flips the board. These are war dogs of boxing. They don't avoid fire, they walk into it with their chin down and hands flying. The forward pressure is non-stop, punches in bunches, willing to take to give one, often thrives inside the pocket, and is constantly moving forward. The key traits of a brawler is the fact that they overwhelm with volume or power, and it makes their opponents uncomfortable, and they excel in phone boot wars, which is something that would break an athlete or a technician. Now, the brawler is vulnerable to slick movement and counters. They burn energy fast, and they're caught prone due to defense gaps. Every era has a brawler. The fans love them, the judges respect them, and their opponents usually fear them. Naoya Inoue's fight style is a devastating mix of explosive power, precision, and technical mastery. His power and precision, nicknamed the Monster for a reason.
Hey, look up this young fighter called the Monster. You ever hear Monster?
No.
Japanese fighter called Monster. This is a monster. He's a mean son of a bitch. He's better than Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was little like that. Just as good.
Inoue delivers knockout power in both hands with incredible accuracy, especially his body shots and right hand. His speed and timing is absolutely amazing. He combines blazing hand speed with perfect timing, often landing clean counters before opponents can react. He's very aggressive yet disciplined. Inoue applies pressure intelligently, cutting off the ring while staying defensively sound and composed. His punch comes in varieties. He mixes up his attacks beautifully, jabs, hooks, uppercuts, and especially his trademark liver shot, keeping opponents guessing. His technical fundamentals are above the chart. Despite his power, Inoue is extremely technically sound. Great balance, tight guard, and a textbook punch mechanics. In short, Naoya Inoue is a ferocious offensive fighter who blends elite technique with explosive knockout power, making him one of the most dangerous and complete boxers in the world. Now, when you run into a brawler, it will be ridiculous to think your athleticism can come through to help you. It's also kind of silly to rely on being a technician to face a brawler. Pretty much the thing that could avoid a brawler you have to run away. By the way, guys, if you're in this part of the video, please go ahead and hit that like button. The runner sounds like an insult, and a lot of people consider it an insult, but it's really not. These fighters are pure technicians. They hit and don't get hit. The defense is their offense. You choose, they punish. Now, the runner has elite footwork and cardio, lateral movement to avoid damage, sharp counters, especially jabs, scores points from the outside, and just keeps that distance. They're really hard to trap, they're great in ring generalship, and they're effective over 12 rounds. But unfortunately, these are the most hated type of boxers. They're perceived as boring, can be punished if not cornered, and they need space to operate, which makes for an absolute opposite of an exciting fight. They pretty much turn fights into marathons, not sprints. When done well, they make world-class sluggers look like amateurs, honestly speaking. Devin Haney's fight style is built on slick defense, sharp fundamentals, and strategic control. He does have defensive mastery. Haney uses excellent head movement, a tight guard, and general great footwork to avoid damage. Pretty much run it.
You, along with they, have described similar styles to Devin, right? That as running. This is not a narrative.
False.
This is not a narrative.
False. Devin has never ran, only against Ramirez. I have never thought Devin was a runner. I saw him as a fantastic jab. Ramirez, he ran.
Okay, listen. A guy on the other side of the mic has described Floyd as running before.
I can give a damn.
He rarely gets hit clean, and he installs his jab-centric offense. His jab is his main weapon. He's fast, he's accurate, and constant. He uses it to control distance, disrupt rhythm, and set up opponents. His clinching and control is something you also have to talk about. When his opponents get close, Haney often ties them up smartly to avoid exchanges and reset the action. His discipline is intact. He doesn't take many risks. Instead, he fights to win rounds cleanly and decisively, rather than going for knockouts. In short, Devin Haney is a defensive technician who uses elite boxing IQ, a sharp jab, and distant management to outpoint and neutralize his opponents. When being a technician fails you, being an athlete always breaks at some point. Being a brawler comes with the risk of being knocked down or knocked out. And at the end of the day, you can't run away from anything. Then comes the craziest mindset in boxing. The psychos. The psychos aren't looking to win a fight. They aren't looking to put on a performance. They're looking to hurt you real bad. You pretty much can't game plan for the psycho. They're unpredictable, wild, emotionally unhinged in the ring. But here's the twist. Sometimes they want to make it ugly.
How did you feel about the guys you were in the ring with?
I wanted to kill them.
Well, I can tell. Why did I'm laughing nervously? What you really felt that way? You wanted
Yeah.
The psycho has unorthodox timing, doesn't fight correctly on purpose, mentally evades opponents, often taunts, baits, and fights dirty when needed. The strengths of a psycho is creating chaos. They bait emotional mistakes and break rhythm fighters. There's an argument to be made that the psycho can be breakable if the chaos is neutralized, and they tend to have undisciplined cardio and defense when they get comfortable. But you never know what's coming with the psycho. That's their power. You expect a fight and they give you a bar fight inside a circus. Gervonta Tank Davis' fight style is a powerful blend of explosiveness, timing, and calculated aggression. His explosive power is ridiculous. Tank is one of the hardest punchers in boxing pound for pound. He carries knockout power in both hands, especially his left hand. His counter punching precision is above the chart as well. He often starts slow, reading his opponent's pattern, and then capitalizes with perfectly timed counters, usually ending fights with one shot. He's compact and elusive. Despite his aggressive style, Davis has slick head movement and a solid defense. He slips punches well and uses angles to stay dangerous while staying safe. His footwork and traps are something his opponents cannot underestimate. He slowly controls the distance and uses feints and footwork to draw opponents in, then punishes them with sharp, explosive shots. He's a composed killer. David fights with patience and confidence, never rushing. Once he sees an opening, he explodes with devastating accuracy. In short, Gervonta Davis is a patient, explosive finisher who combines high fight IQ with lethal power, making him one of the most dangerous and scariest knockout artists in the sport. No style is perfect, no fighter is invincible, but every archetype brings something dangerous to the ring. Boxing is an art of adaptation. In the end, it's not just the style, it's the fighter behind it. So ask yourself, what type of fighter are you? Who you think the best archetype is? And what type of archetype you think beats the other type of archetype? Let me know in the comments. And also, of course, let me know what other archetypes you believe there are in boxing. I'm really curious to know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new and if you want more of these type of videos. I'll see you guys later.